here. Honestly, it's preschool. It's worse than preschool.
Justice League was one of the biggest films of the year when it came out. Even though it wasn't critically acclaimed, its VFX and CGI were something that did shine through. With this, the film was mainly made up of huge CGI sequences and lots of VFX. This means that the on-set scenes don't really look amazing. On today's list, we're going to be going over Justice League without CGI and what it really looks like. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Now, onto the list. First up, no capes. In a superhero movie, you would assume that the characters with capes would actually have them on set. This applies to characters like Superman, Batman, or Martial Manhunter. But in reality, they don't actually wear capes on set, and they CGI them in during post-production. This is for many reasons. It's way easier to be free when doing stunts, and it's much safer when dealing with others on set objects. It's way easier for the actors and makes the filming way more fluid. This small detail kind of breaks the film for some people, but it's just better for the actors. Next up is Ezra Miller treadmill. The Flash is known for running around at super speed, and it's no different for his role in Justice League. On the set of Justice League, it wasn't plausible for Ezra Miller to run around the set whilst the camera follows him around. So for the filming of the film, they had the actor run on a treadmill in front of a green screen. This made it way easier for the actor and the crew to get the shot to make it look great. The Flash is one of the best parts of the film, and it shows with this sort of dedication. Next up is Superman versus the Justice League. During one of the biggest parts of the original cut of the film, Superman is resurrected, and he begins to fight the Justice League whilst his memory is lost. In this scene, there's a huge set piece around them as they're fighting right in the middle of Metropolis. This scene was actually not shot in some place like New York or Vancouver. It's actually shot on a huge green screen set. This made the scene way easier to shoot, and it also looks funny on set. Lots of films do this as it's just more cost efficient for them. Next up is Ezra Miller floating. Also, during this fight between the Justice League and Superman, the Flash has his own small sequence fighting the Man of Steel. In this scene, he's dodging and fighting through super speed, and they're moving around the set. For this scene, Ezra Miller has a circle harness, which made his moment look way more floaty. On set, this looked kind of mad, but it looked great on the screen after editing, as he seems to be floating around Superman as he's moving super fast. This was so awesome. Next up is Cyborg. So the character Cyborg himself is mostly made up of metal and technology. So for the film, they placed the actor in a suit for CGI. This means that he was entirely CGI and the actor had free movement. This just made the whole process easier for everyone on set and in the editing process. There's no need to change the set around a metallic object being on set. This CGI was awesome for everyone. On set, the actor did look quite funny, but it worked out for the film as a whole. Next up is actual bat signal. This one breaks the rule a little bit, but it does count. So, the bat signal is one of the most iconic things about the character of Batman. For Justice League, Zack Snyder didn't want a CGI bat signal and actually commissioned a real one from the UK. This means that without CGI, there actually was a bat signal on set with J.K. Simmons and Ben Affleck. This small detail makes these scenes even better as it shows the dedication to the character and the film as a whole by the director Zack Snyder. The next one is nighttime shots. The vast majority of the film is taken up by a lot of night shots with rain pouring down. These scenes were completely filmed on a green screen with water just running down from the ceiling onto the set. So they were not completely fake, but they were made to look good. These scenes look great, and it shows how dedicated everyone on the set was. Without the CGI, these scenes don't look great on set, but it's really cool that technology can create something as cool as this. Next up is Batman's vehicles. Batman is one of the major characters in the Justice League film and the overall DC franchise. And with the character comes his gadgets and vehicles. So throughout the film, we see a few of his legendary vehicles. We see the Batmobile and the Batplane. These two vehicles were mostly CGI. The plane was entirely CGI, but the Batmobile was partly real. The cockpit of the car was real just so Ben Affleck could sit in it for the up-close scenes. Made the shooting way easier and made for a better looking scene overall. Next up, Nightcrawler was real. Coming off of the previous point, we have another vehicle without CGI. This one is one of the most interesting one of all. This CGI is something everyone would think is CGI in its entirety. The Nightcrawler is a huge vehicle used in the film and is mostly CGI. On the set of the film, they created a cockpit for the vehicle to make the internal scenes look better and be easier on the actors. This was very surprising as this massive CGI beast seemed to be entirely CGI. And now, onto our final point. Next up is Henry Cavill's mustache. And now, the biggest one on our list, here's the final spot. We have the most important and hated CGI moment in the film. Before the film was released, they had to reshoot some of the scenes and add some more since Zack Snyder left the project. At this time, Henry Cavill was filming Mission Impossible and had to grow a mustache for his role. So during the reshoots, he couldn't shave, and this made him Superman with a mustache. To keep the continuity consistent, they had to CGI out his mustache, which looked terrible. Without CGI, we just have Henry Cavill in his Superman suit with a mustache. This looks hilarious. And that's our list. Though the CGI shined through, that doesn't mean it's not amazing. The CGI just wasn't as good as it could have been. The most obvious explanation for the poor VFX is Justice League's rush schedule. Before he was hired, Zack Snyder had achieved picture lock on his cut of the film and was already working on finalizing some VFX shots. But his version of the movie was mostly scrapped for footage reshot by Joss Whedon as late as August 2017. Just 3 months prior to the movie's release. This means two things. First of all, VFX teams that had to wait for final footage before completing their effects had little time to polish and finalize their work, making most of the VFX shots simply a best effort endeavor, with the VFX artists doing the best they could, simply lacking the time needed to provide the same quality they have in the past. The second impact of the protracted reshoot schedule is that the movie's digital intermediary, or color grading, color correction process was not completed until late in the game. Typically, DI is completed after picture lock is achieved, before the VFX are completed or added, with the VFX artists simply matching their work to the colors and shading of the final footage. Because of the reshoots, Justice League's color grading was just being completed in mid-October, only a few weeks before the movie hit theaters. This means that most of the VFX shots would have been completed prior to DI, which can result in rough edges being exposed by changes to light, shadows, and color. It's possible some VFX work, including mustache removal, looked absolutely fine when the VFX teams handed them off, but when some scenes were significantly brightened, some were changed from nighttime to daytime, or had a saturation boosted, the work that originally looked fine could no longer blended well, resulting in visuals that stand out in clear, uncanny valley territory unnecessarily. So overall, the film's CGI was just plagued with bad decisions and some unfortunate events. This means that the film just didn't look out great and made people hate it even more. On set, they really did try though, but it still looks weird, as all films do in these situations. Justice League without CGI is both really cool and very weird. It's a shame that no one really talks about the on-set effects of the film, as everyone just talks about its failures. Hopefully you enjoyed this list. Make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought about it and what you thought about the film. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel with post notifications on so you can keep up to date with all our videos. Thanks for watching.